Hey guys, welcome back to the Five Borough Sports Podcast. I'm Nick, this is Pablo, and we're going to be talking about a lot in this episode. The Rangers and Islanders played their first games. The Jets play the Bengals tomorrow. The Jets play the Bills on Monday, and the Yankees and Mets, both ALCS and NLCS. Yankees versus the Guardians and Mets versus the Dodgers. So we're going to get right into this. We're first going to start talking about the Rangers and Islanders, and the Rangers beat the Penguins 6-0 on, it was Thursday, I'm pretty sure, or Wednesday. It was Wednesday. And they absolutely destroyed the Penguins. They showed that they're coming back from, losing. They want to have another good year. It's the first game, so a long way to go. Igor, after turning down the contract, which hurts them, they really want to keep him around, and they're gonna try their hardest to. But they still just gotta play hockey this year, and whatever happens in the off season next year is gonna happen. If they can't get him back, you can't sign, you can't give him billions of dollars. Then they'll be able to find someone else maybe. But also Igor is one of the best goalies. You don't want to lose him. So it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be rough to see what happens. And Rangers fans are scared about this. But we just gotta play right now and hope for the best. And yeah, they absolutely destroyed the Penguins. Kreider with 2 goals. Sam Carrick had his first goal on the Rangers. That was cool to see. That was the first one of the season for the Rangers. So after he was pretty, he's like a fourth line guy, so he's gonna be in the mix. Hopefully to have a good season with the Rangers too. And then also Igor at the shutout, Alafi with a goal, and Trocheck as well. So they absolutely just kicked ass in Pittsburgh, and today they're playing their home opener in Madison Square Garden against Utah. But for good first game for the Rangers, and we hope that they can build off this win and have another good year and hope to get back to the playoffs. But gonna be a fun season for the Rangers.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of promising play from their players in game one against the Penguins. On top of the fact that it was a 6-0 victory, that's big, especially against the Penguins opening up the season. That's a pretty much that could be a playoff matchup. So to take their number that early in the season is always a good sign for the Rangers. And I think we're gonna see more from Kreider this season, scoring 2 goals to open it. And yeah,
Yeah, definitely. Pittsburgh's getting older too, so it was just a good first win on the road for the Rangers to start the season. And a lot more to come from this season. A lot more news. Just hoping for the best, and the Rangers can have a great season. But not really much else to talk about besides Igor turning down the contract. That really does suck. They want to get him back, but we'll have to see what happens with this and everything. And then the Islanders lost in overtime against Utah on Wednesday as well, and they are playing right now. Or no, Thursday they played, I think. Let me see. I think it was Thursday. It was the day after the Rangers. Yeah, it was Thursday. Losing in overtime. That was a not a fun loss to start the season off, but a lot more season left for the Islanders, and it was cool to see Duclair get his first goal for the Islanders in the first period in the beginning of the game. So a good welcome for him. But yeah, the Islanders are playing right now as well, and I think they played 8, so the game didn't start yet. But 7:46 as we're making this. But Islanders look to bounce back tonight against Dallas. Dallas won their first game against the Predators. So yeah, Islanders looking to win this game, and I think they're all healthy. The Islanders. Uh, Even yeah, I think Sorokin's on day-to-day, so I don't know if they didn't start him game one, so I think they're gonna go back to Varlamov probably. But yeah, the Islanders lost game one to the Utah as well, and the Rangers are playing them right now. Oh, are we done? Are we done with that segment, or do you wanna?
oh yeah, you said pretty much everything.
Okay, yeah, I was making sure. Okay, so now we're going to the. I'll cut that part out. That's like awkward silence. I thought you were gonna say something. Do you want to talk about the Islanders at all, or no?
Nah, it's all right. I don't think we have to say anything. You
Yeah,
said literally everything that was on my
all
mind
right, fair
that they
enough.
blew it.
That's fair. Okay, so that's all honestly for the Islanders, the first game. But now the Giants and Bengals tomorrow night. That's a huge game for the Giants. I mean, if they want to get back into the season, they're gonna be looking to go 3-3. You don't want to fall 2-4. Especially with the Cowboys basically at 500 as well, and the Eagles Commanders a little bit farther ahead, but Commanders are going to start to play a little harder opponents, so I doubt they're going to be this hot going into the mid part and the halfway part of the season. But and with neighbors Singletary, Kayvon out tomorrow, and James Gillian, it's going to be a real, just same game as last week. Second and third string guys are going to have to come in. You're going to see another big game from Tyrone Tracy Jr. and Wandale Robinson, as he's been really fun to watch so far to start the season. And Daniel Jones gonna have to get the ball to these guys, and so this is gonna be a huge game for the Giants to if they want to try to get into the playoffs this year and have any type of a good season.
Yeah, I mean, listen, primetime football, the Giants, they gotta prove something, you know? They gotta prove that that win against the Seahawks, that's just the beginning. There's more to come from that. The Bengals have just been honestly, I don't even know if I could say the entirety of the team. It seems like Joe Burrow, he's doing his thing, but his defense is just not helping him at all, and that showed last week against the Ravens. And honestly, I think the Giants got to capitalize on that, and they will capitalize on that. They showed last week against the Seahawks, Daniel Jones, he doesn't really need neighbors if he has the guys open. And if we go in this week with a good game plan, I think the Giants can definitely take one from the Bengals, go 3-3, and be in a good position in the NFC East.
Yeah, definitely. Especially the Giants have allowed some of the least amount of points in the NFL. A lot of lower scoring games have been really good in the red zone defense, not allowing as much touchdowns as other teams. And the Bengals have been one of the teams that have allowed the most points, yards per game, and also just yards in general. They're like top three in yards allowed. And the Giants are like bottom 15, bottom 12. So they're playing opposite football right now, and if the Giants can really take advantage of this game, if they play their cards right and can blow the Bengals out, if they can withstand Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow and try to have them have a little bit worse game than Burrow's been having because he's been one of the best quarterbacks to start the season so far in the NFL. So yeah, a big game for the Giants tomorrow, and they're looking to repeat what they did last week against the Seahawks to the Bengals, and they're playing, like I said, total opposite football right now. So this is such a winnable game for the Giants, especially even with injured players. I still think Giants can win this game.
Yeah, honestly, another thing is we have to our D line has to step up this week. They played amazing against the Seahawks, and if we could shut Joe Burrow down with the D line, get a few sacks on him, I think we're gonna play our football, and I think it's gonna be a breeze of a win for the Giants.
Yeah, definitely. The Bengals, I think, have one of the weaker offensive lines too. So even if they don't have Thibodeau, I still think that when they're going to double team Dexter, I think that Burns is going to be a huge player in this game too to try to get in there and get a couple sacks, have his biggest game as a Giant. I feel like tomorrow is the best opportunity for him because there's going to be, two guys. They're going to have Roaches, how do you say his name? Roaches. He is pretty big on the defensive line. He's pretty good. Having a pretty solid season to start too, so maybe he can have a good game as well. But yeah, they're gonna have to look to put a lot of pressure on him and make him, you know, force the ball. And maybe we get a couple of interceptions. Our defense hasn't had too many interceptions this year. I think we have one or two. And it was in the first week maybe. Let me see. We only have one interception. That was the first game of the season. So yeah, so they're gonna look to get their first interception since week one. And I think if they put a lot of pressure on Burrow, force him to throw the ball, we can see maybe an interception or two from Burrow tomorrow. So that's going to be a big key. And then once we get the ball in the Jones hand, hopefully, we can get a couple touchdowns off that. So defensive line is going to be a huge part in tomorrow's game. So yeah, the Giants and Bengals, hoping for them to win. We'll recap it once the game's over, sometime Monday or Tuesday, and post episode on that. But I'm hoping the Giants can win that game. And the Jets and Bills, I don't think, in the Jets, we haven't talked about it. They fired Robert Saleh, and huge move. We've been talking about that. I feel like it it's a good move because with Rodgers, their offense kind of looks a little weaker, and the play calling looks a little bit not as good. And when you have him and you're playing like this offensively, and you didn't score too much points against the Broncos, it's kind of like you just have to do it, and you kind of just got to put someone else there at head coach. It hasn't worked with him for the last 3 years, and I think it was honestly a really good move. Even if they might not be better, I think it's a step in the right direction that can make them be better. It's not going to take 1 week for them to be the offensive team that everyone expects them to be, but it should, be the start of something.
Yeah, honestly, if the game on Monday, sorry, if the offense doesn't play good football, what then? You know, who do you put the blame on? You got rid of the guy that has not taken you anywhere in the last 3 years, and you still can't produce on the offense. Do you blame Rodgers? Do you blame the receiving? Do you blame the line? It's gonna be an interesting one on Monday. If I'm the Jets, you want to win this game, especially against the Bills. The Bills have put their foot on the gas this season. They're playing way better football than a lot of people expected after losing Stephon Diggs. And if the Jets can't capitalize after firing their coach, I think it might be time to press the panic button for these guys. I think it's time to think: is Aaron Rodgers the problem here?
Yeah,
That,
definitely. It's gonna be scary if they can't do anything now because, they gave away so much for Rodgers, and are they gonna try to go get Devontae Adams? We talked about I don't think they should, but you know, like they're gonna feel forced to do something, and if they feel forced and that move doesn't even work, there's a lot of scary things that can happen to the Jets in their future, and they can just mess everything up that they have going for them. So I feel like they just have to have confidence in themselves. The Bills just lost 2 games too. They had the 3-0 start, and now they've lost 2 in a row against two really good teams. Barely lost last week's game. Hurt Josh Allen, but he's gonna play tomorrow, of course, and he's gonna be healthy. So I doubt he's gonna play like how he did against the Texans, and they still played a close game. So you know, the Jets are gonna have to capitalize. I feel like on their run defense too. The Jets, I feel like the Bills have a better passing defense more than their rushing defense. So they're gonna have to try to get Brees Hall going. He's gonna have to have a big game. His last couple weeks have been a little rougher, so he's gonna have a good game tomorrow, and that's a key guy. I feel like you got to throw in the mix there. And, their running game I feel like has been a little weaker too, since their 2-1 start.
yeah, especially with the fact that Von Miller is currently suspended, so that's a big player that the Buffalo Bills lost, and that should be a weak spot for the Jets to capitalize on with Brees Hall. If Brees Hall could do his thing without a critical player like Von Miller there and on the D line, I think the Jets could run the ball all game long without having to worry to pass to guys like Garrett Wilson or Williams.
Yeah, definitely. But Rodgers is still gonna have to try to get something going too because it's hard to rely on Brees Hall. But it's gonna be a weird game for the Jets on Monday, without their coach. But they're gonna have to go out there and just play their best football and try to win. Because like I said, with the Giants too, they're 2-3. You don't want to fall to 2-4. And even if they win this game, the Bills fall to 3-3 as well after a 3-0 start. So that'd just be a huge win for them, and they can really get back into this division race. And start over basically and forget what happened the first, 5 weeks when you had that 2-3 start and try to, build off of it. So, gonna be a huge game for the Jets, and I think they don't have any injuries really right now. A couple questionable guys, a couple, defensive guys. Um, Michael Carter the second, he is out. I think after last week, I don't know what happened. He might have got hurt in the beginning of the game. I'm not sure, but and Conklin's questionable, but I think he should play probably. So we'll see by Monday. But yeah, the Jets gonna be huge, just like Giants. A huge game for them to try to win and go 3-3 with the Bills in the division and try to be somewhat close in the race. But that's the Jets and Bills and the Giants and Bengals recap. We will get back to that on Monday. After or Tuesday after we see who wins both those games. But we're gonna hope to see that they can play better games and a lot to come from all of this. And also Malik Neighbors too. With him being at the Travis Scott concert, we don't like to see that because he has such a good future with us, and having that you're on a professional team and you kind of just can't, do stuff like that. I get, you're young and you're still trying to live your life, but you're in season, you have a concussion, you should at least be trying to get better. And I feel like, going to a concert isn't really going to help that. So it's just kind of like unprofessional to start his career off. But I hope it's a learning lesson on what Dable is trying to tell him. I don't know what because he didn't say, but yeah, it's just not fun to see. You want mature players in your team, and you want guys that are here all in for the Giants.
Yeah, he definitely he's gonna learn his lesson from this, you know. Uh, Hopefully he's back next week for the Giants. He's gonna miss this week with a concussion protocol, but I hope to see him in practice on Thursday next week and him ready to go for Sunday.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, hopefully he just can take this as a learning lesson, and it's got to happen now. In the beginning of his career, instead of somewhere down the line where the Giants are competing for a Super Bowl once they get some of the pieces together and can be a Super Bowl contending team in the next week. But yeah, that's pretty much done for our Giants and Jets segment of the episode. So now we go into the final segment, the Yankees and the Mets preview of the championship series, and we haven't seen this since, if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure since 2000, before we were even
Yep.
born. So um, this is huge for sports in general. And if one of them can make it to the World Series, this is the first time in all of American sports that a New York team has made it since 2015, since the Mets. So just one of them having a big chance on making it is just huge and a really good bright start for this time in New York sports, and hopefully one of them can get in. But we'll start previewing the Mets and Dodgers since they play Game 1 tomorrow. And we have Flaherty and Senga on the mound tomorrow. So I don't think the Mets have faced Flaherty this year at all. So they're going to be facing a whole new pitcher they haven't seen this year, and a guy that has been insane, and Senga, who is, we don't know if he's going to give length tomorrow at all. So it's been about a week since he's pitched. So I don't know what their game plan is with him. They can go to Peterson like they did in the first game against the Phillies, but and McNeil's going to be on the roster too. So if he's going to get any type of playing time too, which we don't think so, it's going to be an interesting series, and they're going to have to put more pitchers on the roster too. So I don't know who else is going to go on this roster. I'm sure we'll see it tomorrow morning. But yeah, this is a huge game one for the Mets to try to take one on the road when they go back to home for 3 games if they can win one. So a big game for the Mets tomorrow, and to try to make a what's the word um a sign in Dodger Stadium. Like we're gonna we're gonna be a hard opponent. We're not going out without a fight.
Yeah, I mean it all starts with Senga tomorrow. He's gonna come out, probably pitch at least 3 innings, I would say 3, maybe 4 innings, depending on how good he does, how many pitches he has in the fourth inning if he is to go. Um, and then hopefully we could bring in David Peterson, who's just been lights out. So that would be a great combination of going from Senga to Peterson, and we're gonna see something great. Senga versus Joey Otani. It's the battle of Japan right there. Um, and Jake Flaherty, like you were saying, the Mets, we haven't faced them all year long, but listen, in the postseason, we face some hard pitchers. So I think facing guys like Zach Wheeler, Ranger Suarez, even relievers such as Devin Williams, I feel like that set us up for this series, especially to face Jake Flaherty. Hopefully, they use their experiences with these other teams and push it to this series against the Dodgers.
Yeah, definitely. Senga's gonna be cool to see in Dodger Stadium too. Playing the Dodgers. So but like we have said, a 7 game series is so much different than a five. If you can't Senga can't go long, and you have to bring Peterson in. He can't pitch for a couple of games. When they play Monday, and you're gonna need even if Anaya if there is a chance he doesn't pitch good on Monday, that can hurt them, and they don't have someone like that to go to, and they're gonna have to go to a different starter. So you're gonna have to try to get innings out of your guys. You can't go to the bullpen so early like you kind of can in the DS because it's a shorter series. It's a 7 game series, so the Mets have to get their starters have to give them length, and I feel like they did. That was a good start against the Phillies. A lot of their starters did, besides Senga. So if Senga can give them some type of length to try to save the relievers, um, you can't wait for relievers in the 7 game series because one, the offense will see them a lot, and you don't want them to see your best relievers so much because they'll start to catch on to them and everything. So you're gonna try to want to prevent that too. So just a huge game one for the Mets tomorrow, and hopefully Senga can give them uh you know a long appearance, and then they can get to Flaherty early and try to knock them out so they can get to see the Dodgers bullpen a little bit because their bullpen did play pretty good. I was wrong. Their bullpen played really good in the division series against the Padres. They rarely give up any runs. Their bullpen's the reason why they won Game 4. They shut them out completely after a bullpen game. So you're gonna want to see those relievers, and you're gonna want to get used to facing them because they're gonna come in later games of the series when it's a close game, and you're gonna want to score some type of runs off them.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's Mets Dodgers game one. So we'll recap our game one, game two, when that's over. But now we go to Yankees Guardians, rematch of 2022. But now it's a 7 game series, and these teams have played each other a lot in the last 7 years. This is the fourth time now. So as much as they played the Astros in recent history, they've played Cleveland now. So this is their first chance to make the World Series since 2009. So I'm pretty sure they're going to go to Rodon game one. He has good stats against them, but the Yankee starters have to go far. At 4 games, only Cole was able to get out of the fifth. Rodon wasn't able to get out of the fourth. Cole wasn't able to get out of the fifth in his first start, and then Schmidt wasn't able to get in the fifth in his first start as well. So we're going to have to get linked out of our guys. We can't use our bullpen as much because we had the days off between the first and second and the third game. So that helped us a lot. But now our starters have to give us length. And we're going to have to get to, I assume Hunter Gaddis is going to pitch the first game. He'll be ready. Or if not, we're going to face maybe, what's his name? Not Boyd, the other guy. Let me see. I think Ibaibi's going to go Friday, Saturday. No, Bobby's not gonna go. It's gonna be Cobb, I think. So I think they're gonna go with Cobb game one, and then they'll probably go Bobby game two to Cole and Bobby in game two. So yeah, the Yankees are gonna have to get to him. They haven't faced him this year, and they're both 3 righties, so that's gonna help the Yankees. They don't have to face a lefty. They kind of struggled against lefties in the regular season, so I'm gonna look to hopefully get to these guys. Let me see the Yankees hitters career stats against them too. Soto is 7 for 11 off Alex Cobb. Torres is 3 for 9. Stanton 2 for 14. Judge 3 for 12. So they have some good numbers against these guys. Volpe's 1 for 1. Um, Jazz is 1 for 3. So that's the Yankees' goal in these games. They're gonna have to get to the starters. They're gonna have to get to because their bullpen. When you get to Cade Smith and um, Emmanuel Clase, it's gonna be hard to even score runs off them. Especially the Yankees kind of struggled off Kansas City's bullpen a little bit. Besides in Game 1, Game 2 and 3 and 4, they're really gonna hit them. Besides they got that home run off Urseg, Stanton did, and then so the Yankees are going to have to get to their starting pitching, score runs early, try to get like a big 3-run home run, a big 2-run home run, just like they did 2 years ago. So, going to be a big series for the Yankees trying to take game one. They're a better road team, so we're not scared to go on the road and win games. That's not our weakness, but I can see this series going 1-1 into Cleveland. So, just going to be a huge game one for the Yankees on Monday night. But we don't know the roster yet. They're going to carry 2 more pitchers. I assume it's going to be like Stroman. So we're gonna have to get more length out of our starters, but gonna be a huge series against Cleveland, and hoping to go to the World Series for the first time since 2009.
This is gonna be an exciting series, like you were saying. I wanted to see the Yankees play the Tigers, but this is also it's gonna be great. I feel like seeing the Yankees play the Guardians bullpen could be great. I mean, Emmanuel Clase, he's been lights out, and I feel like the Yankees are the team that could, you know, put them to shambles. They have the right guys for it. I don't think Clase is ready for the Yankees, to be honest with you. If anything, I feel like the Guardians they should try to get some length out of their starting pitchers in this series. Because in my opinion, I feel like if they go to the bullpen heavy in this series, it's not going to work to their favor like it did against the Tigers. A guy like Clase in the playoffs, he's lights out against regular teams, but against a team that is power driven, and for his 100-mile-per-hour fastball, I don't think that's going to work out. It's going to be an Aroldis Chapman situation for the Guardians, in my opinion here. And I feel like the Yankees, they could take a quite amount of advantage over the Guardians to win this whole series. I think they could win in five, to be honest with you.
Yeah, if everything goes right for the Yankees, this could be a quick series for them. If they, Judge starts to get hot and stuff, and these starters we have good numbers against. So the Guardians are gonna have a hard series if they really want to win this. They're gonna have to try to out hit us. Lane Thomas is gonna have to get those big hits like he did in these games against the Tigers, and J Ram is gonna have to have a better series than he did against the Tigers. Had his last two games were a little better. The first game he had a good game, but Quan had you know three hit games in a row to end the series against the Tigers. So they got to Skubal today, so they showed they can get to good pitchers. So that's gonna, kind of a little bit scary of a sign for the Yankees. But if the Yankees can hang with, just start off, get every game, getting some runs. There's gonna be a game or two where obviously, you're gonna have some struggle in the beginning. But most of the games you're gonna look to score early. Score early. That's what they did against the Guardians 2 years ago, and they can repeat that. They can have a pretty quick series. But it's not going to be easy run. The Guardians are a good team. They have some good spots to them, and they have good power hitters, and especially with the short porch in Yankee Stadium, with Kwan, Ramirez, Naylor, Lane Thomas. Those guys are going to use that short porch. So that's why I think the Yankees are going to do easier in Cleveland because the short porch and everything, that the wind's carrying that way. Like it was in the first two games in Yankee Stadium, then that can be kind of hard. So that's why I think the first two games are going to be the hardest ones for the Yankees. But once they go back to Cleveland, the series might get a little easier.
Yeah, and I feel like a player for the Yankees to watch in this series is going to be Josh Naylor. I mean, the Yankees are familiar with him, especially Garrett Cole, which I can't wait to see that matchup again this year. Garrett Cole versus Josh Naylor after the whole baby incident. Um, that's going to be the guy to watch for the Yankees. If they could shut down Josh Naylor, and J-Ram doesn't pick it up, I feel like they'll be fine. The only other guy I can really think of is Stephen Kwan, who is a massive guy when it comes to contact. And if they could just make him put the ball in play and pop it up, it's going to be a whole different ball game for the Yankees.
Yeah, Jose Ramirez is really good as well against Garrett Cole. He's 12 for 34 with 2 home runs, 7 RBIs. He walked 7 times, so that's gonna be someone that he's gonna we can't do the intentional walk thing like we did with Devers, but trying to not allow people to get on when you're facing Jose Ramirez, because if he hits a 2-run home run or you don't want him to face him with runners in scoring position because that can blow a game out or something. So you know, but Rodon is absolutely a killer of the Guardians. I think that most they have a lot of lefties in their lineup. I think Jose Ramirez is weaker side is his okay, no, his weaker side. Well, he doesn't really have a weak side to be fair. He's insane on both sides of the plate, but he is worse against right-handed pitchers this season, and I don't think did Garrett Cole pitch at all against the Guardians this year. If he did, let me see how he did. Okay, he did. So he went 6 innings of no run ball. And let me see what Jose Ramirez did. Lined out and he walked. So he's gonna walk a lot, and that was the right plan to do. They had Quan that is pretty good against him too, but I think Josh Naylor has been doing a little worse against him recently since 2022 when he killed him. But the last 2 seasons, I think that Josh Naylor's been a little worse against him, and I don't think Josh Naylor really didn't have that good of a series against Detroit. So if they can neutralize him and try to neutralize J-Ram, can be a pretty easy series for the Yankees. They just gotta pitch, man. They just gotta try to get their pitchers right. Get some big starts out of Rodon. At least one start that he can do 7 innings, 6 innings, 2 run, you know, 8 strikeouts, and give it to the bullpen, and not try to overuse the bullpen and let your bullpen rest a little bit because whoever we face next in the next series is gonna be a bigger and harder opponent than what we faced in weeks. So this is the easy part. You can take care of it. You can do it. Hopefully in 5 or 6 games. But the Yankees have to play the right ball, and they can do it. So yeah, as we
Yeah,
recap Game
I
One, we don't know the starters yet. but we will recap more of it in the early of the week. Once we saw some of the games already, but game one is at 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. on Monday. So it's gonna be a fun series, man. If the Guardians have a chance, but the Yankees are gonna have to play. If they just play somewhat of good baseball, they can get past the Guardians pretty quick. But I think that's pretty much it for the episode. Pablo, do you have anything else you think you want to say? Or
No, I think New York is in for a hell of a week of sports. Honestly,
yeah, definitely.
that's all I gotta say.
A lot more to start up. The Knicks are starting soon. Rangers, Islanders are starting off. Giants and Jets. Some big games for them this week to try to get their season going a little more. And the Yankees and Mets, man. New York sports is probably feeling the best it has in a long time, so it's at the right point that we're starting this podcast up while it is. But we appreciate whoever's watching this episode, and we appreciate that you check out our other episodes as well as we continue to make more episodes and just try to do more content and newer content. And we definitely should have another new episode coming soon. We appreciate everything, guys, that you have watched our episodes and everything so far, and we will see you guys soon. Thank you, guys. This is the Five Borough Sports Podcast. I'm Nick. This is Pablo, and we will see you guys soon. Thank you very much.